The Avengers!
This is From Justin to Kane, a podcast where Mike Robertson and Bob LaRue watch one critically acclaimed film and one terrible film and talk about how they are the same.
Welcome, everybody, to From Justin to Kane. This is Mike.
And I'm Bob. Guess where we are?
We are in my backyard.
Yep.
Once again.
About 12 feet apart,
Yep.
sipping a beer.
Oh,
Mike's
yeah.
wearing Blundstones and looks like no socks. You got socks in those sweaty...
No, I ain't got no socks in my Blundstones.
You're nasty.
I'm a bit of a blister boy. What can I say?
Self-described blister boy.
I'm a bit of a blister boy, yeah.
Well, anyways, yeah, we're just lounging in the backyard.
Yeah.
Lots of nice flowers.
Oh, yeah, great garden. Great garden.
Great garden
Not
game.
gray gardens. We're not quite at that stage yet of the pandemic, but yeah, great garden. And just, I don't know if you can hear the
dogs.
The ambiance. Just like, well, let's pause for ambiance a little bit.
I will say, I love that fountain. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know the vibe, but I like the white noise.
Yeah, the neighbor has a fountain which you can hear.
Do you ever put up a tent?
No, we talked about having a backyard.
Because because that's on all the time.
Yeah.
You'd sleep like a baby out here, wouldn't you?
It would feel like, yeah, except for fear of, roaming neighbors who are in a stabbing mood.
Right. Or, the local pervs.
Local pervs
trying to get a little peek of your blisters.
Yeah. My blisters, yeah.
Mike just got really sad. I don't know why. Anyways.
But, we're just hanging out in the backyard. We're doing a special epi today.
That's right.
A nice summer epi. It is actually as of this record, the equinox? How do you pronounce it?
Solstice?
What are we?
The longest
It's the longest day of the year.
Shortest night.
Shortest night, yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny, actually? So I just finished working on a movie, and there was a night where we were filming a heist, and so the sun went down at 11 and up at 3.
Right.
So we had a 4-hour shooting window to shoot all of this nighttime stuff, and it wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We're very far north because we're from Edmonton.
That's right.
We're in a backyard in Edmonton. But it's like Alaska up here. It's crazy.
It's friggin' crazy.
God dang.
it. So, it's the equinox. What did we say it was? The solstice?
So...
Yeah, summer solstice, of course. It's alliteration.
Summer. Yeah. You know, it's funny. My dad just got an Equinox, a Chevy Equinox.
Oh, yeah?
Just a little side note, because he said Equinox like 12 times.
Yeah. So last year we did a special backyard episode, and this year we're doing it again, just mainly out of just the weather's
demand,
nice, popular demand.
Popular
the canines
demand.
are barking for it. Yeah. I don't recall that last year we even said canine at all. And
No, this is more recent, the canine title.
Yeah, but now we're just kind of every episode you got to say it 98 times, just so people are like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah, we're just trying to be more obnoxious because that's how you get that bubbly sponsorship.
That's right. We got to get that bubbly sponsorship.
Bubbly, we're waiting.
But so last year we talked about rom-coms.
Yes.
Bob had spent the front 9 of the pandemic just watching rom-coms every day for
That's right.
however many, whatever. But this year, things are a little bit different. You have, instead of watching rom-coms or any other genre, you watched a bunch of Marvel movies. You watched every single Marvel movie, is that right?
Yeah, but in the timeline order. So
In
not
the timeline
the order
order.
they came out, the order that the story requires them to be.
Right.
Yeah, so pretty cool, right, guys? Right?
I don't know.
Okay,
We'll
really
wait.
wanted to be validated there, Mike. It didn't happen.
Well, I mean, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to find out whether it's cool or not.
Yeah. I'm also going to be embarrassed when I can't remember details. Because it's honestly a blur. It's
How-
like 18 movies or something, or 15, 16 movies?
Well, this is maybe a bad choice for an episode, just because I don't care about these movies at all. I am kind of one of those Kino nerds who makes fun of them a little bit. I didn't really read comics as a kid. I had a couple of Spider-Man comics, random X-Men. I think I was into X-Men comics a little bit more.
Yeah.
But Marvel, the Marvel movies, I've seen maybe 5 or 6 of them.
Which
maybe.
ones?
Probably actually more than 5 or 6 now that I think about it. I saw all of the Avengers films.
Yeah.
I saw Captain America 1.
Yeah.
Did not see The Winter Soldier, but I saw Captain America Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Avengers Civil War.
Yeah. No,
It's an Avengers film.
no, it's called Captain America Civil War.
What?
It's technically a Captain America movie, but it was one of the movies that they just are like, you know what? This story doesn't make any sense. Let's just see how many people we can put on the screen at once.
Yeah.
So
Because it's the whole team.
it's the whole team.
Yeah.
They assemble. The titular Avengers assemble.
Yeah.
So I saw that one, and Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok.
Yes. What
I
about
believe-
any of the
I believe that
Iron
is
Mans?
it.
Like when
No.
they came out?
I watched Iron Man 1, but I only got 20 minutes in and I turned it off. Not
Wow.
out of distaste for it, because I actually was kind of enjoying it, but I just kind of forgot that I was watching it. Oh yeah, because it was on Netflix. And then I did see the original. I saw the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
No, it's outside of the scope of the Marvel timeline order.
Why is that?
It's excluded. It's like if they basically pretend it doesn't exist.
Oh, but didn't it come out right at the beginning of the Marvel cinematic universe?
I think it did, yeah. But then they immediately pivoted, made a whole slew of movies, and then cast Mark Ruffalo.
Okay.
So I think, because it's not like we're not going to talk about Eric Bana.
You don't know that.
Although I will say, growing up, that Hulk movie I thought was amazing.
I have
so
not
dark.
actually seen it, but I hear that it is like a lot of movies that are kind of panned upon release. Now I think a lot of people think it's a worth a second look.
Yeah, absolutely. I would watch it as a kid on VHS, and it was a great, super solid film and impressive, the visual effects, but also the story is so dark. It's
Right,
about
right.
a father-son dynamic and their toxic relationship, and they basically both need to turn into giant monsters and beat each other up to work through their problems.
So those are all the Marvel movies I've seen.
Right,
I believe, from the cinematic universe. So this episode is going to be me kind of almost interviewing Bob, I guess, about his experience.
That's right. Because I put in all the work, and I asked Mike if he would go on this journey, and he said probably not. He didn't say no, he said probably not.
And I didn't.
Yeah,
I did
he
not.
probably didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try not to share my opinion too much, because people like me can be a bit of a downer sometimes when it comes to Marvel movies. So.
No, I want your opinion. I'm not pro-Marvel, just saying this out of the gate.
Oh, okay.
This was not my idea. It was my brother-in-law's idea.
Right.
And we're neighbors. We live in the same apartment building, and it became a ritual where every Sunday we'd watch a movie.
That's fun.
It was really nice, yeah.
Well, I mean, I watched Bright.
Yeah.
That
The Will
crap,
Smith,
yeah.
$1 billion.
The Max Landis written, terrible, just god awful film. But I
You're
watched
shitting
that.
on Max Landis, hey?
Yeah, I think he can take it / deserves it ? But I watched that movie when it came out on Netflix. I think I watched it day one.
Wow.
But I watched it with my dad.
Yeah.
And it was a movie he wanted to watch, and I had to suppress all my cinephile, urges to just kind of critique, much to the annoyance of everyone else. And it was more about the experience of just watching with family than it was about me
Being,
actually enjoying the film, because it was a god-awful film.
Yeah. I haven't seen Bright. No, I don't. I'm never going
We
to see
should.
it.
It's a movie worth covering on the pod. It's really bad.
Oh, really? Well, buckle up, folks. I guess Bright's coming up, because that's an easy one to watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of like interview you, I guess.
Great.
About your experience. And yeah, I'll share my opinion here and there, but
Cool. I guess I should say this out of the gate. I have to come fully clean. There are two films I've seen, but I didn't watch in the order of the timeline order.
okay, I'm stopping the recording.
You know what? Podcast is over. Let's cancel this. Both Ant-Man movies. My sister and brother-in-law watched them without me. And yeah, that's just the truth.
We'll say they're non-canon.
Sure. They're definitely canon.
They definitely
Yeah,
are.
like actually Ant-Man, upon initial viewing, I didn't realize how critical it was to the timeline order.
Why is that?
Well, because Ant-Man can go into the multiverse, or like he can shrink down and go inside of atoms and switch dimensions. And so he's the one who realizes that you can reverse time.
Oh, that sounds
So
cool,
he's
actually.
literally like the critical, in the last Avengers film, he's the reason everything happens.
That's correct, right. So I guess...
So he's literally crucial. The other films wouldn't have happened without Ant-Man and Paul Rudd.
I guess it's also worth mentioning that spoilers abound.
Oh,
Probably.
big time, yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen these films yet, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? It's like you can't avoid these things. When they come out, they take over half of the theater.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So when a Star Wars movie comes out and you're like, if there's 12 theaters, 6 of them are just different like viewing formats. It's like 2D, 3D, AVX, smell-o-vision, popcorn buffet theater, bed theater,
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we should get into it. So the timeline order, I'll describe the timeline order, maybe, for all the canines out there who probably don't care, but are listening to this anyways. The timeline order is not the order in which the films were released and made. It's the order in which the story can be told linearly.
Right.
Because they were released really sporadically. Like Captain Marvel is technically the second film, but it's the most recent film.
Right.
Because it came out after the Avengers, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I think it came out a year or two after.
Yeah, but it's the second film. So just stuff like that. And I think Iron Man was the first film made, but it's the third film.
So you're talking chronology because Captain Marvel is set in the 90s?
Yeah, 1998, I think. Yeah. And it's also the film where you realize Nick Fury, you get the origin story of why he has an eye patch.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it's really funny. I enjoyed it very much.
What is that origin story?
There's a cat that's like an alien.
Oh, yeah.
And then it claws his eyeball. He's like, oh, look at this cute cat. And then it claws his eyeball.
Yeah, that's right.
Because all the aliens are freaking out because they know that the cat's like this really intense, nasty alien. And then he's like, what are you talking about? It's a cat. And then sure enough, nasty alien claws him in the eyeball.
Doesn't it have a stupid name like Peduncle or something like that?
I think it's literally peduncle. Yeah, I think that's it exactly.
Well,
Mike.
peduncle is a little thing on the edge on a squash.
Oh, here we go. What? No, it isn't. What? Peduncle's the end of a squash?
Yeah, it's like the little nubbin on the end of a squash or like a pumpkin, I guess.
How do you know this?
I went to a squash garden in Montreal.
Huh. Weird.
That's how I know.
Well, there you have it, folks.
There you have it. So, yeah. How was the experience looking back?
Honestly, pretty fun. Some of them are very bad.
Yeah.
I'd say the first half of the films, except for Captain Marvel, are pretty terrible.
Captain Marvel's good?
No. It's better than Iron Man 2 and 3.
Okay.
Thor 1 and 2.
Right.
Which are all in the, quote-unquote, the front nine. Mm-hmm. If we're going to go with the golf metaphor here.
And we do.
Yeah, and we do. But I like the first Iron Man's good. The first Captain America's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Not great, pretty good. Better than I remember. But it's like you can see that they found their stride with like making the films really funny.
Yes.
And I'd say like the bits in Captain Marvel are super funny.
Well, even just the Thor movies. Once Thor started and I'm saying this as someone who didn't see the first two Thor movies, but watched all of the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Once they realized that Thor
Was the comedic relief.
was kind of the comic relief because he's a fish out of water,
Yeah.
then those movies aren't so bad.
Yeah. But the first two Thor films are like almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
They're so serious, very boring.
Mm-hmm.
They really didn't set Natalie Portman up to succeed.
No.
They gave
I
her
heard
nothing
that.
to work with. And there's like no charisma. And also his aesthetic was weird.
Right.
His hair was like a different color. They like bleach blonded him instead of in the Avengers films. His hair is just his normal color.
Right.
So yeah, they made like a bunch of changes throughout the films, which is cool to see in the timeline order. But anyways, I think Captain Marvel's like better than most of the films in the front 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a great film. Very cliche.
Did Deadpool movies count?
No.
Okay. Do Spider-Man movies count? Even though they're Sony movies and they do, like, I saw the first Spider-Man movie, Far From Home or Home Away From, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Home something. They all have home in the title.
So in the timeline, at least on Disney Plus, the Spider-Man films are not in the timeline order.
Right.
But Spider-Man's in the Avengers films.
Yeah.
And the Civil War movie, which you keep saying is not an Avengers film. I don't know.
I mean, it is an Avengers film in that it's barely a Captain America movie, but it is called Captain America Civil War.
Is it?
It is actually called that, yeah.
Oh, weird. I should know this because I saw it like...
Yeah, because Avengers Endgame is called... people call it Avengers 4.
Oh, really?
And it would be Avengers 5 if you were right.
Right.
You're not, so...
Right. Because I'm the dumb one.
You're
as
the dumb one,
already said.
Yeah. We decided who was the dumb one earlier.
Yeah, and Mike decided I'm the dumb one, and I didn't respond.
That's right. Yeah, how was the experience for you?
Oh, yeah. It was great. It's a lot of fun. They're like dumb. They're mindless, you know? So it's just kind of fun to watch a movie where you don't have to be stressed out ever.
Right.
You know? And it's also comforting to know that there's a bunch of movies you still have to watch.
Yeah.
It's like watching TV. Like a TV series.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what people say? That the movies were kind of like, what if we made movies feel like a TV show?
Is that what people said?
I think I don't think that the Marvel people did.
Right.
But I think a lot of fans and also the haters say that it's like watching a TV show where you're just basically, it's episodic to the point where there's cliffhangers and like little spoilers of what's to come, little hints, little tasty
Easter
eggs of like what's to come. But then also, the story, if just taken on its own, is like nonsense.
Yeah.
Because you need all these other pieces to make any sense of it. So it is kind of like watching a TV show.
Yeah.
Except the episodes are, for some reason, almost 3 hours long.
Yeah, especially the last two films are 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall the experience was great. I had a great time. But you realize like the majority of the films are terrible.
Okay.
And then they hit their stride around Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And then after that, like for better or worse, I think the last two Avengers films are like pretty good.
Yeah.
Compared to the back 9.
The back 9.
And the first half, just I guess all the front 9 and the back 9. The last two films are like pretty strong.
Right.
And then I haven't seen WandaVision yet. That's the next thing I'm going to watch.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I hear
WandaVision
they
and
really
Loki.
figured it out. Like,
Yeah.
they've found the sweet spot with making this compelling and still approachable for the general public without getting too, like, artsy, but not also just making garbage. Cotton candy movie making.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I haven't seen WandaVision. I haven't seen Loki. I haven't seen, as we've discussed, most of the movies. But it's kind of a point of pride, I guess. I've seen most of the DCU.
For some reason.
I
don't know why, but yeah.
But there's only like, how many movies in it? 5 movies? 6?
Like all the Zack Snyder films, you mean?
Just any, like the connected, DCU movies. How many are there? There's like 2 Wonder Woman movies.
Yeah.
A Superman, a Batman and Superman, a Suicide Squad, ?
Does that count?
I think it does because it connects to Justice League because Joker makes a cameo in that.
Oh, that's right.
So...
Yeah. So I guess, I've seen all of them too. Except for I haven't seen like Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, that one I have not seen.
Oh, okay.
That was the only one I haven't seen. But
Right.
I think there's only, I don't know why Marvel is like, we made 25 films or however many freaking movies they made. And then DC is like, we made 7.
Yeah. I will. So something I wanted to bring up, Mike, because we, dare I say, famously watched the Justice League film, the Snyder Cut Justice League.
The only podcast to do an extra long episode about it also. No other podcast did that.
But, I think there's like a correlation between the shittiness of some of the films in the Marvel timeline order and Joss Whedon being involved.
Uh-huh.
So, like, the first Avengers film, Joss Whedon directed, fucking terrible.
Go on.
I believe he directed the next one as well.
He did Age of Ultron, yeah.
And absolute shit. Just a terrible fucking movie.
Okay.
But then the Russo brothers take over, and there's a noticeable improvement.
Right.
And I think famously, too, like, between the two Justice Leagues, because Joss Whedon took over, famously. I keep using the word famously.
It's one of your words.
It's one of your titular words.
We say titular, we say famously, we say canines, we say let's get into it.
Yeah.
We say
this feels over.
We say feels over. It's a new catchphrase for the pod, yeah. Got to have all of our little catchphrases so we have merch one day.
Yeah, we should.
One day.
I mean, I know a guy we could print some shirts.
Oh yeah, your dad.
Yeah, my dad. Anyways, I think because like the sort of the discussions that we've had with people about the first Justice League and how you could really feel that Joss Whedon, his DNA was in it, even though Zack Snyder shot the first chunk or whatever, and then not a single frame of Joss Whedon's coverage and like from his principal photographies in the Snyder Cut,
right?
Which is super interesting. And I guess I haven't seen them, but there's a really noticeable shift between the two films.
Yeah,
not just in length, but in tone and blah blah blah. And I think that's true of the Marvel films too. So I this isn't to shit on Joss Whedon, but
hey, I mean, go for it.
Take a big dumper right all over Joss Whedon.
I doubt he's listening. And
imagine if he just messaged us on Instagram and said, "Honestly, guys, really hurtful, super hurtful."
I mean, please send us a message.
But yeah, I think Joss Whedon didn't help, but for some reason he was given the reins for the first several films. Jon Favreau did a pretty good job, I think, with the first Iron Man. The second one is pretty rough, and then the third one is directed by that comedy director who made The Good Guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what's his name? Something Black.
Yeah, Shane Black.
Shane Black, he directed it. And it feels like a Shane Black film, but it's like stuck within the confines of the Marvel filmmaking machine. So like there's moments where it's like, I could see why this would be really charming or an interesting plot twist, but it just doesn't work. But there's lots of weird shit that happens through the timeline order. Like Gwyneth Paltrow, you can just see her quitting, and then they force her to just be like barely in every movie to fulfill her obligation as Potts. And there's little details like that where you can see, and that stuff really takes away from, not from individual films, but when you watch them consecutively like I did, you can kind of feel, it's like if you're watching a TV show, and if you read about an actor wanting to leave, and then you saw them become less and less frequent in episodes, and then they die off or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And it's like, oh, they obviously were just trying to get a new job or get out of the acting business.
Well, I mean, Gwyneth had to go do her Yoni TV show or whatever, magazine or whatever she does.
Yeah. Well, she's the CEO or whatever of Goop, and she's busy. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so just stuff like that. But overall, the experience was great. But I think like Joss Whedon, weird. You can kind of feel it. A lot of the films are terrible. Ragnarok is kind of where the stride is hit.
Yeah.
And then, there's little details like Gwyneth Paltrow like dipping out. Jon Favreau also, like, you can see him dipping out as his character. Yeah. And he stops directing films and just becomes an executive producer. So just stuff like that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Whedonification of these movies where there's like, the comedy is just quips? Because I remember I saw the second Avengers movie, I think, in the theater, and I was like I was like, all of these characters have the exact same joke style. Mm-hmm. And if you're writing comedy, you want every character to kind of like tell jokes differently. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that there should be like a unified voice of the writer in a way, but at the same time, as like, it should also feel like these are separate people. And I remember watching those Avengers movies, and like they all just kind of like make the same kind of jokes.
Yeah.
And they're all just kind of quips. Like it just at a certain point just becomes puns, which are like barely jokes. Because, yeah. Pause for the helicopter.
Okay. Wow, the clouds are so beautiful, and they're moving so fast.
Yeah. What do you think? What do the canines at home think about these clouds? I mean, we can talk through the helicopter.
Can we? I'm sure it's really loud right now, specifically.
Yeah, but it's
diegetic.
It's diegetic because
Yeah.
we've mentioned it.
I think they're charmless. Like the first two Avengers films are really charmless,
Right.
and they feel dry. And another interesting thing, my sister and brother-in-law brought this up. They were like, James Spader as Ultron
Yeah.
felt like they were trying to make this really edgy antagonist and really be like, ooh, like he's dark and brooding, and like Marvel's serious now. But then James Spader's like making weird remarks about society and trying to be quippy still.
Yeah. Exactly.
But nothing lands.
No.
Like even the bad guy who's literally trying to kill every person, commit genocide, is still like riffing.
Yeah.
And that's not how it goes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Did Thanos did he quip? Was he a quipper?
No, not really. He was just kind of like, I'm here to snap my fingers, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do the old snappy snaps?
I think they found their stride because they were like serious characters, and then because like Captain America didn't really make jokes, but I think they found their stride because like the attempt within Whedon, like you said, was every character was funny and charming.
Yeah.
But that's untrue and impossible within a story. And then once you get into the later films, they hit the sweet spot, and they're like, you know what, Thor's the funny guy. Iron Man can say the sort of like snide remarks and be a little more judgmental.
Yeah.
Captain America will be very sort of patriotic and quite vanilla.
Yeah.
And very optimistic and wholesome. And then Hulk, you know what? I'd say they didn't handle Hulk well.
Okay.
I think Hulk was a weird character within the entire timeline.
Why is that? Why did they not handle him well?
I think Mark Ruffalo's vibe was weird. They never wrote him super well. His romance with Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow, Natasha, whatever, is weird. They never really like found their footing, so it all felt kind of awkward and forced.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, Mark Ruffalo felt like a weird Hulk.
Yeah, he's kind of like an indie sweetheart kind of guy, and yeah. I mean, he also barely does anything. He just kind of walks around and says a couple of like science things, and then when he turns into Hulk, he doesn't do anything.
It is fun in the last film when he's become like simpatico with Hulk, and he's himself but in Hulk's body.
Yeah.
And then they're like eating breakfast.
Oh yeah, that right.
Like that's fun. Like I like the last film self-aware. I like that they become self-aware as the films go on, but not to the point where it's like nauseating. It's still like there's heart to it, and they're trying to tell a story, but it's self-aware, and they realize like there's celebrities, and there's like a Ben & Jerry's flavor called Hulk, like chocolate chip ice cream's like Hulk something. There's a fun title,
right.
Whatever the hell it is, you know, just shit like that. So Black Widow's weird. You know, there's one grievance I have. I hate, what is her name? Colby Smulders?
Yeah.
I think she's it's so distracting to see her in anything other than How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really?
And I find her in the Avengers films so distracting.
I've never seen How I Met Your Mother, so she was
Totally normal.
The Avengers was my first introduction to this person.
And you were like, she's great.
Yeah, and well, she doesn't really do anything. She's just kind of there.
There's this shot, I forget which movie it is. It ends like they go into the basement or whatever of this new facility, and she just like looks over and like nods, but she's like typing at a computer still. And I think that's just like quintessentially her character. She's just always at a computer typing, doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then she's just stressed out. And she's always just around Nick Fury, but I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I know a lot about this stuff, even though I
Have never seen the films.
I haven't seen most of the films and go out of my way to talk about not being a fan and not liking these things, but
you're actually a fan.
I believe they made a TV show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
So it's like you're watching Avengers and you're like, I want to know more about these characters who wear suits and just type on a computer in the background.
Right.
So there's a whole show about that. So she was on that show, if I'm not mistaken. And same with the other guy who dies
In a Thor movie.
in one of the movies. What's his name? What's his character's name?
I don't know.
He's like an agent or something like that.
Yeah.
He looks like kind of Agent Smith from The Matrix, but like more kind of happy.
Yeah.
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 Not as Australian.
Yeah. I want this character to be not so Australian.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't care for how in the later films Iron Man would almost kind of sell out the entire film.
What do you mean by
where
that?
he'd be like, oh, we have to go get these space rocks from this space wizard or something like that. Like he just kind of was constantly just making fun of the whole thing, and it's like I barely am invested in this. Like you gotta
take that away.
Don't take that away from me. What limited investment I've already put into this. Like I do not care about this. So
yeah. That's interesting you say
to do that.
I found that like the self-awareness was charming because everything is so ridiculous. That it's like it felt like nice that the film didn't try to pull the wool over my eyes.
I don't know. I feel like I guess so. To me it's like I guess I can't be happy because I don't want Iron Man to like deconstruct things to the point of like winking at the audience or like just kind of like, you getting this? Isn't
Look
this
at this
stupid?
big purple guy. His name's Thanos.
Yeah.
Seems like a real jerk.
But then also I don't buy whenever any character cries or anything sad is supposed to happen and I'm supposed to like be involved emotionally in this. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess I can't enjoy myself because I don't buy into any of the emotional parts, and also as a comedy fan, I guess I just also think the jokes are bad. So
yeah, it's just not for you, Mike.
I know,
just not for you.
But is it worth recording an episode where I just learn something I already knew?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes with self-discovery, you got to relearn.
Did you find that they were for you?
I enjoyed myself, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say this. People are going to be upset. I got a little teary-eyed in the last film.
Who's going to be upset?
The canines.
Why?
Because they rely on me to be a judgmental asshole about movies, and here I am being a sentimental little pup.
You're their strong master.
Yeah, exactly.
And they need you to be emotionless just so that they...
But little do they know, I'm just
strong.
a person. And even the scene, like, I know it's like a hilarious bit now on the internet, but like when everyone's turning to ash, and it's like, wow, like this is a masterclass in filmmaking.
Okay.
Don't people say that on the internet?
Right? I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of bad takes on the internet, and there's also a lot of people who have never seen a good movie before Marvel movies came out.
Right.
I think the internet, one thing that I kind of realize or have to remind myself, I guess more so, is how many people who are on the internet are young.
Yeah.
And don't have a lot of experience but are just perpetually online.
Yeah.
So there's just someone who's like 16 or 15 or something like that, and they're just getting into movies, and Marvel films are just the greatest thing they've ever seen. Of course there can be a 15 or 16-year-old who loves Seven Samurai. Not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are just kind of naive about what a good movie is because they see, Game of Thrones. There's that scene where there's like a dragon behind her that looks like she has wings, and people are like, "Wow, they should teach this in film school." I mean, that's just the most iconic kind of internet dumb guy thinks this is brilliant kind of thing. Was like, yeah, she's the dragon lady. Like, it's not that deep, but people are just like, But also, like, I was that person once when I was 16 or 17, and just like seeing.
When you're just
composition, seeing mise en scène, for the first time, and then realizing, there's more to this than just Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura.
Yeah,
as an art form.
I think that's a good point. There is also, like, this is neither here nor there, but the sort of, like, the video essay movement that has become so prevalent in our sort of online landscape is not a good thing, because on a general level, it's like underinformed people putting themselves on an elevated platform and then misinforming the general public.
Yeah.
So that people, and really, I mean, it's not on the people making these videos, it's on the fans or the people watching them not vetting the videos they're watching, and they're just taking everything at face value. But there is this sort of like strange movement that never used to be a thing, where because of how democratized the internet is, anybody can become an intellectual about a subject and just start making essays and stuff. You know, whereas like in the 50s and 60s, like with movie reviewers and thinkers, it's like, oh, I had to like go to, you know, like Truffaut working for that magazine.
Cahiers de Cinema.
Yeah, like, you know, you got to put some work in and be like, oh, are you a good writer? Like, there are steps you have to go through before you can like really sit down and impart your ideas on other people.
Yeah.
But now with the internet, that has all gone by the wayside, and anybody can do it. And now there's a lot of just like poorly articulated or frankly uninspired ideas being shared. And people look at them and they're like, wow, this is great. So my whole point being, back to what I was saying before, was...
And don't forget you're saying this on a podcast, on a movie podcast.
No, I'm aware, like, I think I can judge the thing and still be a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're definitely the problem. Like,
we are?
We're part of it, yeah.
Why is that?
What we're doing is stupid.
Go on.
Well, no, you know, it's like, you know, we barely research these movies and then we tell people about them.
I mean, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But it's fun, and that's the point. But it should never be looked at as gospel.
No, of course not.
Like, this is the rule or whatever. But what I was saying before about how on the internet, that scene of like, you know, everyone's disappearing into ash or whatever after the finger snap, it's examined by certain people as like, this is great modern cinema.
Yeah.
And I disagree wholeheartedly. But in the moment while I was watching it, I was like, this is very emotional. Yeah. Once you've watched it for almost 3 hours, you're like, wow, Spider-Man's so sad.
Yeah, but you know that they're all going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also a good viewer. I feel like I feel all the emotions they want me to feel.
Okay.
You know?
But they don't even do, like, they don't have a good score, though. So it's not like the score really telegraphs anything, it doesn't seem like. Or does it telegraph too much?
I think it telegraphs too much.
Oh, okay.
I think their score is like too on the nose.
I just remember that, I mean, going back to video essays on YouTube, but every frame of painting, that iconic series of like
R.I.P.
one of the best kind of video essay things, where it's just like this guy comes out, does maybe a dozen of these videos and then leaves, and every one of them is kind of a banger. Yeah. And makes you think about things in a different way that you, or maybe just notice something you never noticed. But the Marvel music one was one of the best ones, just because he says, hey, you know, can you hum any part of the Marvel score? Why are there so many of these movies and we don't even know what the music is for this movie?
Or the theme.
Yeah, what the theme is. Like, but I don't know what the theme is.
Lord of the Rings, you could probably, like, off the top of your head, like, kind of get the Shire theme going.
Yeah. Do 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 the Shire do ba do Gandalf.
Start scatting.
Yeah. Now do Harry Potter.
Me?
Yeah.
Do 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 do, scar on the forehead. Ouch, where did that come from? Look at the stairs move. Ooh, the paintings. Are they photos? Or are they paintings? Or are they movies? I don't know. Where's my dad? I don't know who he is. Gary Oldman? I don't know. I can't remember. I got a wand. There's like a short guy. There's a tall guy. I'm magic. I'm on a broom. I play a game with a little ball called Squibbage? What's it called? What's the game called where they fly?
The lyrics to that song is crazy that they kept that in at the very end, where he just kind of forgets what the game is called. They kept it in. They're like, another brilliant score. James Horner, I assume. Was it James Horner? Or was it John Williams? Who did it? Who did the?
I have no idea.
Do 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 do. Is that how Harry Potter goes? I actually can't remember that score. So it shows how bad I am.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that comes to mind is Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Do. But that's like a classic theme.
That they did a good job though.
Yes,
because
they
were like, hey, we're gonna make people remember this.
Get back to it, Mike. Like, they did a great job with the score, and they did a great job with the symbolism because of this shot. I don't know if you've seen it. It's where Khaleesi is standing in front of her dragon, but the dragon is hidden by her figure, but the wings are seen, and it looks like she has the wings.
Oh my god!
And what that frame is painting is that she's a dragon.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they painted every frame.
Truly, they did.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess to get back to that's an interesting point about the score.
Well, I mean, I didn't make it that Tony guy from Every Frame a Painting did, but I noticed that he said that when I watched it.
It's me, Tony.
Yeah. I know he stopped making videos because he needed to get back to making a pizza pie.
That's great. Great.
He's from Vancouver.
Yeah. Well, I love that video essay he did about how Vancouver plays every city but itself.
Yeah.
And it's so true. More true now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And that was like a very like particular episode. Yeah,
I watched a movie the other day and it was set in Vancouver, and I could tell. Can't remember what it was called.
It was set in Vancouver?
Yeah. No, it was filmed in Vancouver.
But trying to be another city.
Yeah, but it was trying to be like an American city. But
you know which movie's famous for that? And I feel like the Canines really missed this reference, is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They shot that in Van.
Oh, I watched Romeo Must Die recently.
What's that?
It's a Jet Li movie. It's one of his like his first early American films.
Huh.
It's him playing opposite Aaliyah and like DMX. So it's like hip hop and martial arts.
Weird.
Early 90s, yeah. Right before Aaliyah died.
Yeah.
It's like her first starring role / one of her last.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Vancouver. Well, the Marvel movies are all filmed like in Georgia, or they used to be.
Yeah, I think they were all filmed in Atlanta.
Yeah. Also, I watched a thing where they showed how they kind of filmed stuff in like the downtown core, and they just fly these giant sheets between buildings.
And then they just put in new buildings?
Well, no, they just kind of block out any semblance of shadow. So everything is just kind of this bland sunlessness.
Yeah. It's not a contrasty movie.
No.
None of them are.
And yeah, I mean, we're not doing the Lord's work here by just going through all of the things that the Marvel movies do boringly, because we're not the first people to point those out. Just like, did you notice the color grading isn't vibrant considering it's a comic book? Like, that's not a new take.
Yeah. I think, well, I just have to say, like, back to any shortcomings that they have as films, all in all, like, for the most part, I very much enjoyed myself. And I did feel a lot of the emotions. Like, it's cool. I think, like, Thanos' relationship with the Green Lady, whose name I can't remember, is, like, interesting and fun, and,
Zord, Blard, Zoyan, Zimblap.
I can't remember.
I should know all this.
Stuff like that
Drax
is cool.
Drax is the other guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Drax is Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what the Green Lady's name is, but she's like, what's his face? His daughter.
Yeah. And then the Blue Lady is also his daughter.
Yep.
And they're sisters by adoption.
Yeah. There's, dare I say, too many superheroes.
I think so.
It's hard to keep track of them all.
It felt a bit, the ending, the one moment where they all come back in the final film to fight and stop Thanos. Mm-hmm. It was like, wow, there are too many characters. Like, you can just tell that this is the money-making machine.
Yeah.
And they're just like, wow, with every character, we're making more money. Let's keep doing this.
I mean, I don't care about the universe. I'm not interested whenever a new one comes out. But I gotta say, I did watch those two movies, and I was not confused.
Yeah.
Like they did actually a pretty decent job balancing all those characters to the point where I was like, okay, now I know who I'm following. Now I know where everybody is.
I think the greatest achievement that the Avengers films did was they took the logistical nightmare of taking that many characters and like that much sort of like plot. I'm very heavy air quotes right now. Plot and trying to like organize it in a way that is totally digestible to the average person.
Right.
And I think they did that super well. Like excluding any like artistic endeavor or integrity or whatever. The one thing that they really mastered was like how to build the movies so that they made sense.
Yeah.
And I think they did really, really well.
Thank you for your thoughts. I'm just going to see it. Can you list all of them?
Yeah.
You don't need to do it in any sort of order.
Well, let me try to do it in order. The one issue I have is the first Captain America. It's Captain America something. Original Avenger.
You've already failed that.
Is it Captain America the First Avenger?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's Iron Man.
Okay.
Iron Man 2.
Okay.
Okay, and then I believe Thor.
Sure.
And then Thor 2. Thor something Darkness. Fuck.
Dark World.
Dark World. And then Iron Man 3. And then Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And then Captain America Civil War, which you insist is the title.
It is.
Oh, I guess you have it in front of you.
I do, yeah.
And then you have so Winter Soldier, and then the first Avengers film. It's just called Avengers. Mm-hmm. And then you have Avengers Age of Ultron. And then you have Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
And then Ant-Man.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. I believe there's an Avengers film in between the two Ant-Man films. And then you have...
You mean
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2.
Sure.
This is not in order now. This is getting pretty dicey.
I didn't bring up an order on the internet.
Oh, okay,
I just am looking at a list. Just
the first, I think I got the front 9 right, but the back 9 is a bit of a shit show. But yeah, so all the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and then the two Ant-Man films, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
And then you have, Thor Ragnarok, as I just said. And then we go into, I believe then it's Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
And then Avengers Endgame.
But there's a bunch of characters we haven't introduced yet.
And Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah, right.
I forgot Captain Marvel. No, it goes it's Captain America, the first Avenger, Captain Marvel, Iron Man.
Oh, are you starting over?
No, I'm not going to make... I just want to say that's the front end.
Oh, okay.
But...
front 9.
The front 9. Who... Oh, well, no, because the Spider-Man films don't count.
No, but there's like one character...
Oh, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh,
And then there's another one who is...
has their own movie?
Has their own movie. And I'll give you a hint. Cumberbatch.
Oh, Doctor Strange. It's funny, Doctor Strange is such a good film, but it feels like such an out-of-place movie, and it's easy to forget within the bigger machine.
Was it a big hit? I don't even know.
I think it was. I think it made a lot of money. And he's like one of the coolest characters.
Yeah.
I think. And he's more badass than any of the other people.
Did any of these movies bomb? I don't think any of them did.
I'm pretty sure they were all home runs.
Wow.
I think they literally only made a shitload of money.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I name them all?
I mean, you didn't name the Spider-Man movies, I don't think. But
well, I guess it's just Spider-Man and then Far From Home?
Yeah,
no,
Homecoming and Far From Home, yeah.
Yeah. But they're not part of the timeline order.
No. No.
But there's also Thor, Love and Thunder, which is coming out soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So can you... I just wanted to ask you to list all of this stuff just to add some tension to the episode for the canines at home who know all of this stuff and they just are just getting angry listening to you try and figure it out. I love on podcasts where people are just struggling to remember something that you know the answer to, and then you're just like, just say it.
Well,
I know what it is.
Because it's like you're listening to it and you're not in a stressful situation, so obviously your recall is better.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're like, there's a gun to your head, your memory just immediately evaporates.
Yeah, well, you did pretty good considering that you're at gunpoint right now.
Yeah, Mike is holding a gun. Literally,
Yeah.
iPhone in one hand, gun in the other, beer in another.
Oh, yeah, I'm all about my guns, my God, and my government, you know? So, yeah, okay, so let's look forward into 2022.
Okay.
What movies are in the future?
Okay, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
I forget Chloe Zhao's film. What's it called?
Eternals.
Eternals. I was thinking Elementals.
Yeah. Also, did you see the trailer for that movie?
No. Does it look
Hilarious.
bad?
Well, did you ever see this? A little unheard film called Nomadland?
I never heard of it.
Yeah. So you know how Nomadland was like all magic hour?
Yeah.
Eternals is the same thing.
Oh, Jesus.
It's insane, yeah, that like every shot looks the exact same as in the trailer at least.
And
Looks
then
exact
every
same as-
superhero's just shitting in their vans, and they
Yeah.
all live in vans, and they're like out at Joshua Tree,
Yeah.
like living in parks, national parks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
But you know, so I think this is worth saying. I've seen all the films in their order, had a good time. I am not excited for any new films.
Oh, I bet.
Like, I'm not looking forward to any of them. I'm sure I'll watch them eventually, but it's not like I'm waiting with bated breath for Love and Thunder.
I mean, that's the Taika Waititi movie. That's actually probably will be one of the only good ones.
Probably, and I'm still not that excited about it.
It's also crazy that Chloe Zhao was making Eternals while she was working on Eternals while she was making Nomadland.
I know, at the same time. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? That's like when Luc Besson made The Professional in pre-production of The Fifth Element.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? And then the tiny movie ended up being the good one, and the big movie ended up being a real turd.
Oh, wow. That's a
We should do a
controversial
mini-sode
take.
on all the movies that feature Bruce Willis with hair, like but false hair. Because I just watched Looper,
Yeah.
and in the flashback sequence, or no, the flash forward sequence when it's him becoming Bruce Willis, from Joseph Gordon-Levitt to Bruce Willis, there's a big chunk of it where he has like a thin wisp of hair in the middle parted to one side, and it's pitch black. And I'm like, man, I feel like there's a lot of movies with hair that's false. You know, 12 Monkeys, he wears a wig. I think Fifth Element, he has some sort of weird hair situation.
Doesn't John McClane have a bunch of hair?
Yeah, he has actual hair.
Anyway, you were listing future Marvel movies.
Oh yeah,
Much to
that's
the
it.
non-boredom of listeners.
Those two, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I haven't done any research. Are there a bunch still coming out?
Oh, there's so many.
Why?
What are you asking that question for? You know the answer.
Yeah. How many? Like, is it a lot?
I don't know. I'm just Doctor Strange, Thor, a new Spider-Man, another Black Panther. It says the Marvels, whatever that is.
Huh.
Quantumania. Oh, that's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Fantastic Four. They're going to try it again.
Oh yeah.
It says Moon Knight, whatever that is.
Wow.
Another Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Oh, there's a holiday special.
What?
I guess so. I don't know. Blade, Hawkeye. I think Blade has what's his putz from Green Book.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
Right. Hawkeye. We all want to see a Hawkeye movie.
Yeah. Oh, I will say, maybe I got to say this real quick. Hawkeye in the first Thor film,
Yeah.
hilariously shitty. And then he gets cool, and then he gets shitty again after his family disappears, and he becomes like the grungy guy who's like upset, and he gets like this weird haircut, and then he just becomes like this badass. And there's a real arc to Hawkeye alone in terms
Okay.
of his likability.
Yeah, because he's one of the boring characters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
But he has a nice
everybody's like, oh, what a
house,
dumb guy.
wife, 2 kids. He's like the normie of the bunch.
I mean, yeah, he is a Jeremy Renner character, so he's just kind of
Whoa.
like a boring guy.
Shots fired. Shots
I don't
fired.
know.
I like
I
it.
mean, Jeremy Renner is not a boring man. Because have you heard about the Jeremy Renner app?
No, what's that?
He had an app. He had tried to get his own social media thing going, but it was called the Jeremy Renner app, and it was just he had his own social media like empire.
Wow.
So people would go in here, and it would be like Facebook, but all you could talk about was Jeremy Renner.
What?
And he would share his music and pictures, and I don't know, I assume he has a vineyard or something like that, and he just shows pictures of him with wine. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, but the big sell is he'll put his music on there. So assuming that you A, knew he did music, and B, was interested in listening to it, that was a big sell.
The only celebrity who's in a band that I want to watch live is Michael Shannon.
Oh, really? What's
in
his
the band Corporate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think it would be awesome to just see him be like, just doing his thing.
What about Dogstar?
What's that?
Keanu's band.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
I love, man, actors just like being in bands is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm into it. Except for Billy Bob Thornton. I have no interest in his band.
What's his band called?
I forget, but there's a famous interview. Is it Billy Bob Thornton? I think it's Billy Bob Thornton. He's on Q.
Oh, yeah, right.
And this is when Gomeshi was still on the show. He's like, he asks him, do you think... Billy Bob Thornton gets really upset when he asks, like, do you think your band would have as much success if you weren't a famous actor? Like, do you think that helped, speed up your success and your listenership? And then Billy Bob Thornton, kind of blew up and was, super pissy about it. But it's obviously that helped. You're a fucking famous actor.
Question.
No one else. That's how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why anything succeeds when there's a celebrity attached to it. It's because they already have a listenership.
Exactly.
Podcasts, bands.
Also, yeah, that's a dumb question because that band isn't even famous. Nobody cares. Nobody listens to it.
Yeah. It's true.
So, of course, people are like, oh, I want to see this band that Billy Bob Thornton is in because I know who Billy Bob Thornton is, so I have something that I can connect to in this band. I did see 30 Seconds to Mars live once.
Oh, yeah? How were they?
Oh, bad.
Yeah. I had a short phase. For a long time, I didn't realize that Jared Leto was the lead singer.
Yeah.
But 30 Seconds to Mars, there were a couple songs, I feel like when I was in junior high, I was super into.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was being harsh, but they're definitely one of the better celebrity bands.
Yeah.
Where there's one celebrity in it, and the rest of the bandmates just have to put up with the fact that nobody's will ever even remember what they look like because Jared Leto's in the band.
Yeah, that's the sad truth, too, you know?
But I did see them live at Ed's, West Edmonton Mall.
Oh, yeah.
And
weird.
Yeah, they opened for I Mother Earth and some other Canadian... Oh, Billy Talent.
Oh, wow. That would have been a fun night.
This was before Billy Talent was famous, too.
What a fun night that would have been.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But, so that was and then people were shouting, "My so-called life!" And Jared Leto would swear at them because he's like, "No, we're talking about my band now."
I love that celebrities try to shake off the thing that they got famous with or whatever, and it's just so, it's an interesting thing. It's like a mixture of a lack of gratitude, and yes, it's fine to relabel yourself and change your identity, but at the same time, you just have to put up with the real fact that the reason you are where you are from previous things that got you that success.
Exactly.
And people don't just forget that.
No.
They're not there to see your band. They're there to see the guy from that show who's in the band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's better to be self-aware than to fuck around and, be like, no, that's all in the past. That's not who I am. It's like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
You're an accumulation of the things you do.
Yeah. I think I may have just swallowed a mosquito. But there's a lot of skeeters out right now.
Yeah, now we're just getting straight.
We're in skeeter
eaten
country.
alive.
So if any of the canines can hear any scritching,
aggressive.
It's because I'm scratching skeeters that are biting me. Because I'm wearing shorts.
All over the blisters.
That's a wild kind of also communication, that people that they're doing where they go to a show. They go to a show and they're going because they want to see Jared Leto, and he wants people to take his music seriously. And so when she just goes and shouts, "My so-called life," and then he just gets mad at her and curses at her.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like, what is shouting the thing that he's in going to even accomplish? You know, she's not even thinking. She's just like, "I know you from this. I'm just shouting it."
But you know, I think it's okay for people to get excited.
Oh, I know.
Like, because sometimes, you know, for certain people, they meet celebrities and they just lose it. Like, they can't even stand. And that, like, that's okay. That's a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure for that person, they were in awe.
Dude, have you met a celebrity and you were starstruck?
No.
Okay. There you go. That's the end of the podcast.
Although on the movie I just wrapped, Colin Mochrie in it for one day.
Oh, really?
And a lot of the crew was like, Colin Mochrie on the call sheet? Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of funny.
Did you go up to him and be like, "Improv, hey?" And then he'd be like, "Oh, we can relate."
No, but something hilarious happened. We were eating lunch outside, and this guy in a beat up old Pontiac Sunfire does like 5 laps around where we're eating, and then he pulls up, and then we walk over to him. We're like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Hey, is Colin Mochrie here?" Mm-hmm. And we're like, "Oh, yeah, why?" And he's like, "Oh, I want him to sign all of my Whose Line Is It Anyways box sets."
Oh, wow.
And then he signs them all, and they chat a little bit, and then he drives away, and then he continues to do laps so that he can watch Colin Mochrie eat lunch. So, you know, people are weird with celebrities.
It is kind of weird.
Like, Colin Mochrie's like not that famous.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, no, not really. But
You know, but this guy was like losing it, and we were out in Devon. So that was like an extra nice layer to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not nervous around any celeb?
No, not really.
Not anybody you would be nervous around?
I'm sure if McConaughey was here, I'd be nervous. I don't know, like, probably. It's hard to say. I haven't really met super famous people.
Who's the most famous person you've met?
Not that many famous people. How about you?
Well, can you not think of one person? Is it Colin Mochrie?
It might literally be Colin Mochrie, which is terrible. I mean, it's not terrible, but I haven't met that many people. Famous people. How about you?
I guess Philip Seymour Hoffman. I talked to him briefly.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Me and my friend went to Sundance. I think we've talked about this on the pod once, at least.
Yeah.
And I maybe even brought this up, because we also met Ebert that same trip, which I know I've talked about on this pod.
Yes, yeah, you met Ebert.
But
Man, you've met some cool people.
I did talk to Philip Seymour Hoffman for literally 30 seconds when I asked him if I could get a photo, and he said no, and that was our conversation.
I love that. I love it.
Saw Elliot Gould chilling on a porch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He's
Sundance.
cool.
Yeah. I don't... Been to Los Angeles, and I've seen... Oh, I talked to Michael Cera at a UCB show in Los Angeles once.
Cool.
Yeah. I just asked him, "Are you performing in this show?" He was like, "No, I'm just watching." And then that was it. He was sitting like in front of me at the back row of the theater.
Right.
That's it. That was the conversation.
Nice. Were you performing?
No, I wasn't. No, not at UCB, no.
Okay.
Oh, I talked to Zach Galifianakis.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
This was at a Sasquatch music festival. And I just was like, "Hey, I think you're great." And he just was like, "Thanks." And walked away. That was like, I never have great conversations with these people. You never, like, there's nothing to say to any celebrity.
No, and it's not conducive to like getting to know somebody.
Yeah.
It's not. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had like a really solid conversation with like a random celebrity encounter, you know?
Hopefully the friggin' canines tell us they're most famous.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? We should solicit some social media stories.
Celebs, yeah.
Yeah, canines. We really need you to tell us your hilarious celebrity stories. We'll read them on the pod, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But also, if we don't read them on the pod, it's because nobody sent them in. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
And if we read one, it's because
interest.
One got sent in. So. So anyway, that's the Marvel Universe, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's the deal with Marvel?
What's the deal with the Marvel Universe?
Anyways, it's fun. I recommend everyone do it.
Really?
Sit down and don't move until you've watched every single film consecutively.
Okay. Okay. Just one more question. How many hours of your life was that, do you think?
I'd say let's average 2.5 hours times, what is it, 16 movies?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was like 20-something.
I don't know how many movies it is. I would say maybe it's around the 16 to 18 range. So maybe about 40.
Okay.
40 hours. That's not bad. What's a
not too
video
bad.
game? 40 hours?
Depends which one you... Yeah, I recently beat a video game that took me, I think, 50 or 60 hours to beat.
Yeah, so it's like the same thing.
I beat a couple of games during the pandemic last year that were 100-plus hours.
Wow, I do not have that kind of dedication.
Everybody else was getting into Animal Crossing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be punk rock. I'm going to get into Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And so that's an addictive game if there ever was one.
It sounds addictive.
You should play it. I want to see how it ruins your life.
I want to see you become a worse person.
I was a friggin' mayonnaise magnate. I took all my chickens because it's a farming game.
Yeah.
Took all my chickens, took their eggs, bought a mayonnaise machine.
Yeah.
Made some sick mayonnaise. I made so much money.
I bet you did.
Renovated the heck out of my barn.
Is this our most chaotic episode yet?
No. Oh yeah, that's another one of our catchphrases, and it is. It is kind of our most chaotic episode because we really went in with nothing, and we came out with arguably nothing also. But.
What a journey we've taken people on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even bringing Marvel expertise. Like some people will be like, "Oh yeah, I know issue 16 of this run." You know.
I've never read a comic book ever.
What?
In my life.
What?
Yeah, never. Not one.
Not even like an indie comic where it's
No.
like sad people?
Nope.
Not even a chick track?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, never. Nothing. Zilch.
Oh, there's some good Skeeter scratching right there.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear it? We're just getting eaten alive here. I feel like a buffet. We should wrap this puppy up.
We should wrap this puppy up. Okay, well, thanks. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, apologies. We did no research. I just went on this journey.
Well, you did a lot of watching, though.
That's true. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. I would recommend it to anybody. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I had a great time. We're going to be back to our regular programming on the next epi, do some comparisons, just a mindless intellectual exercise, and keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for those episodes. All right, canines, well, this was a fun backyard hang.
Yeah, thanks for joining us in the backyard.
Hope you enjoyed our drunk conversation, our incessant Skeeter scratching.
These Alberta mosquitoes, man, they're vicious.
Also the cacophony of just sound effects.
Yeah, we got a fountain, airplanes, helicopter, buzzing bugs, me shifting in my chair uncomfortably as I get eaten alive.
Yeah.
It's amazing what Mike and I do for this craft,
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if only we could go inside in the same room together.
Oh, those were the days, huh?
Those were the days. We all took it for granted when we went and saw cats and then did a recording in the same room and just didn't even realize weeks later we wouldn't be in the same room together for more than 16 months.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's the life we're living.
It's the life you're living.
Yeah.
Gotta say, not a big supporter of this pandemic. I don't think I care for it much.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Simulation. What you doing?
Well, also, I mean, this is a whole other can of worms, but in the Matrix movies,
yes,
they escape their dreary robot-filled life because they're living in a sci-fi, like, post-apocalyptic hellscape, kind of. And they escape into the regular world, where people are working in an office and are going to clubs and stuff, and everybody's like, and they're like, this is the world that the robots programmed for you, just to keep you kind of bored.
Yeah.
So, or not bored, to keep you
busy
so that they could drain you of your battery.
Yeah.
Anyway, if the Matrix were real, would there be a pandemic in the Matrix? So we know we're not in the Matrix because, that happened.
Right. That's a really compelling argument, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice, Mike.
And also, in classic kind of Marvel quippiness, somebody says, that happened. When they say that in movies?
I mean, that's never said once.
They don't say that? I swear Iron Man says, so that happened.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe he gave the exact look you just gave, but he said something else.
That was in the Space Jam trailer. Daffy Duck says it. Something happens and he goes, well, that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
which you're very excited for.
Yeah, sure.
Deep sigh. Anyways, yeah, let's wrap this puppy up. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Mike and I are very itchy now, but that's okay. We'll see ya on the next one. Feel free to message us on our social media, which
from
is
Justin Tukane with the number 2.
Yeah, which is on Instagram, Twitter,
Yes,
and as in the famous Mikeism, Facebook, I guess.
Letterboxd.
Oh yeah, and Letterboxd, yeah. So yeah, feel free to reach out. You can say nice things, mean things, ambivalent things. Just like a finger snapping emoticon if you really want to reference this epi specifically.
Yeah.
Reach out.
Cool. Well, bye, everybody.
See ya.
And bye.